Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm the Jaywalker. Today, another Sunday morning mystery that I just happened to be recording on a Monday. It's been a few weeks since I've done this and want to get back into it. Behind me, picture of the Great Saltair, currently being used as a concert venue. I've not been to any concerts out there, but I hear it's a pretty cool one. Back in the day, Saltair used to be like a big resort that was along the shores of the Great Salt Lake. It's actually, this current building was built maybe a mile or so away from, a little bit south of the old resort site. Now, I'm talking about Saltair because today's mystery takes place, or at least part of it happens to take place just down the road from Saltair. So in October of 2000, somewhere along I-80, just outside of Salt Lake City, fairly close to Magna, which is where Saltair is located. A couple of duck hunters found a human skull as well as a number of bones along the roadway. They were unidentified. There was no identifying clothing or anything like that with these remains. Upon examination of said remains, the police had originally believed that these remains had been out there for probably 2 to 3 years, due to the amount of decomposition that had taken place. Took them 12 years to identify these remains that they had lovingly called Saltair Sally. Now, there are some stories possibly at Saltair, that picture I just saw or showed a moment ago, being haunted by the ghost of Saltair Sally. I don't know about that. Like I said, I've never been out there, never investigated, but it wasn't until the year 2012. It took 12 years for them to identify these remains. This is Nicole Bacolis. At the time of the finding of her remains, the remains of Saltair Sally, she was 20 years old. Nikki was Saltair Sally. She went missing March 15th of 2000. So the police's estimate on the amount of time that her body had been out there was very wrong. And no one had thought to really look into her because of this assumption. So Nikki had moved to the Salt Lake area with her then boyfriend, Joel, back in 1998 when she was about 17 or 18 years old. At some point in 1999, she'd gone home to visit her family back in Washington State twice. Second time, she had been hooked on drugs, but seemed to be hopeful and things were possibly looking up. That she had gone back on a plane. The last time anyone in her family had seen her was when her mother took her to the airport in July of 1999 to say goodbye. Now, she was either pregnant or at least had possibly had a child or been pregnant at about this time, because at the time of her death, she and Joel, her kind of on and off again boyfriend, had a child. Now, she, even though no one had really been able to get a hold of her because she had kind of cut off contact with her family sometime completely around the beginning of 2000, her family thought that it was just because she was moving around a lot and things weren't going quite as well as she was expecting. So her parents did file a preliminary missing persons case in 2000, but nothing really went through to anything from there. But it wasn't until 2003 that they filed an official missing persons case. And even with that, the investigation still sat cold because they were just figuring she was missing and not dead. It was after a group had done a facial reconstruction on Saltair Sally's skull that Nikki's mom said, I think that's my daughter. And the police were, we don't think it is, because of, again, that flawed assumption that her remains had been out there longer than they had been. But in 2012, they did a DNA test in which they did find that Saltair Sally's remains were those of Nicole. Now, the case has still not been solved. There's been no further movement. They have talked with her on again, off again boyfriend Joel, and he seems to have been cleared. They did have an argument on the day of March 15th, but he said that they had argued at the motel that they had been living at, and after this argument he left, never to see her again. There was a possibility at the time that she was seeing another person, an older man, but no one knows for sure. No one knows who that was. But again, the case is very, very cold 23 years later now. If you have any information, please call the Unified Police Department of Salt Lake County. Let's find some justice for Nikki. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you again soon.